Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Mr. Wriggler and today we are talking about ranked. It's finally back. There's finally something to do in the game again, man. So we're a couple of days out and what I thought I'd do is bring you some decks that I think are going to crush on day one. So first thing I want you to know is the meta is going to change every day. So you need to have your finger on the pulse. What I normally do is I post content on ranked, specifically ranked. So if you want to stay ahead of the meta, if you want to know what decks to play on the day, because day one is going to be different to day 7. People are going to change. The meta is going to be solved very, very fast. So hit the bell, notify yourself whenever I upload. That way you can go, oh, I know what deck to play, Mr. Wriggler upload. So the first thing I want to talk about is you need to find a deck that is going to be fast. You need to find a deck that can streak, that can win fast. You can play a lot of volume, and that can find win streaks so that you can get exponential points. You're going to outpace the guy who is playing try hard mode, that's playing an Aura Courier Greninja, that is a tournament winning deck right now and is like playing 20 minutes a game. He's playing this deck. Don't play this deck. Don't play this deck. That's not what we're doing. We are looking for easy decks to play. We don't have to make it hard, If you want to play hard decks and you want to play consistent decks that are going to be decision heavy, go play a tournament. Go play a tournament. Speaking of tournaments, your boy came top 15th in the Mad's overall tournament data. Overall. And I only played 4 out of the 9 tournaments. Pretty crazy. So the first deck I want to talk about is what I call the Meta Absol. Now, you've probably seen something very similar, but this is the deck that I'm going to bring on day one. This is the deck I'm going to hit Master Ball with in a couple of hours. You're going to hit Master Ball with this. For context, won a small little, tournament. It's called a Rush Cup. Basically, you had to see how many games you could play within an hour and 20 minutes. And this is the deck that I used. I won every game. And I came first. 15 games in an hour and a half. So this deck absolutely stomps, dude. It absolutely stomps. Also, another thing is the moment you see an Aura Courier in the meta, this is the guy. This guy dumps an Aura Courier. It works well against Magnezone, kinda, if you manage to get it into the range. And that's why we have the baby Absol, is to soften up whatever our big targets are, and also to baby snipe. Now, that sounds a bit dodgy, but the reason why that's important is because a lot of the win conditions can come down to you need your 3rd point, and sometimes your Absol can just snipe that guy, the Chingling or whatever the case is, or get something into Cyrus range, the 2-pointer, the Darkrai, or whatever the case is. So this Absol is very, very important to have in the deck. It's the reason why I run 2 off. Chingling also there just to hold down people evolving and slowing down the game, so you're able to find ultimately your Hydreigons. This is your win con. This is your guy. This is a Hydreigon deck. Don't get it twisted. This is a Hydreigon deck. This is not a Mega Absol deck. Mega Absol is just kind of there to be strategic. You do sometimes have to be strategic in terms of I'm not going to attack with Hydreigon right now because I need to place an energy on to Absol to activate him, so that if they do knock out my Hydreigon, I can attack the next turn. I don't have to just move in with no energy. Sometimes that is a winning strategy for this deck. But yeah, that's deck 1. That's the deck that's going to get you to Master Ball. Like and subscribe. But other way, guys, we are giving away a prize. We are talking about any 2-star card. Please subscribe, comment down below whatever 2-star card you want, and we will trade it to you on the 27th, which is in 2 days. And yeah, good luck. But let's move on. Let's move on to another deck that I think is going to crush. Now, it's a Mega Altaria deck. Mine's a little bit different to some of the other versions, but it's essentially the same. The reason I've run Elekid over a Rocky Helmet is because going first sucks. Going first sucks, dude. Adding another baby does make things tricky, especially with so much bench snipe. But if you're being more careful with your piloting, in other words, like don't put down the Elekid when there's a bench sniping like opportunity, you know, like don't put down the Chingling like if they've 2 points up and they've got something they can bench snipe. It's also the reason why we run Mars is because sometimes we strategically sacrifice our babies, which also again sounds messed up, but we sacrifice our babies to get them down to we get them ahead of 2 points, and then we Mars them down to 1 card, and that way we can safely move in with our Altaria and start like doing the damage to their Mega, to their front line, without having to be worried about, you know, Sabrina or a Cyrus or whatever the case is. Now, this deck is very strong. The reason why I run Guzma is that I think Guzma stocks are going to be stupidly high, because Copycat is going to be a tech that's run across the board, and so one very good strategy in running a copycat tech is playing tools that they can just dump. So a lot of the times they're going to put their whole board with giant capes, with rocky helmets, with poison barbs, and so Guzman just goes, nah, I'm going to clear the board of that. And also really helpful for like things that go into like giant capes, you know. Some things like a Suicune, for example, manages to get out of range of 130 when it puts a giant cape on. But a Chingling attack in a Guzman puts it back down to 130. So, which is a safe space for Altaria to KO it. That's deck 2. That's the deck 2, right? We're going fast here. Zone. We're going to talk about Zone. Now, this is my variation on Zone. Very important deck. If you've got a high EX meta, this is the best deck to play. I don't think it's the best Oricorio deck, quite frankly. I think there's another one, but again, it's not the fastest one. This is the fastest one. Remember, we want speed, we want consistency in terms of how fast we can win. The cards that you'll see that are different here is I run Sabrina and I run May. May is very good in terms of consistency. Being able just to find your pieces it's so consistent. I don't understand why people don't run more May with this deck, because it's so important to find your Magnetite, your Magneton, and your Magna Zone on turn 1, on turn 2, on turn 3. So May is just like a guaranteed way of finding that piece. Almost guaranteed, kind of. Like, but yeah, we run Chingling. I like Chingling, red card. Also very good to like make them stockpile their hand, red card them. There's 2 copycats just to like, again, to make sure that you are getting cards to find your pieces. Tools, Giant Cape, very, very important for like Oricorio. Yeah, like against an Altaria, it's just a nightmare for an Altaria to play against an Oricorio with a cape on. And also good on Zone when you're playing against like a Blaziken that can hit for 140 or a Suicune, you know. So yeah, very good deck. Very important just to kind of familiarize yourself with and bring into the meta day 1. The other deck that I'm going to tell you that is going to crush is Blaziken. Like, if you are looking for a rare candy deck, this is it. This is it. Like, Blaziken's going to be strong. It's going to be everywhere. We can talk about this deck. So, very straightforward. I do like Sabrina in my list. A lot of the times, it's going to win games. I thought about trying to find a Guzma. Lily just seems so important, man. It just seems so important, especially with so much bench damage, etc. Like, it's able to heal you out of range of being double hit by an Altaria. So unless you're attacking into a Rocky Helmet, like they can't 2-hit you with an Altaria, which is very important. Rocky Helmet's very important. Heatmore, the bench sniping one, very important. There is other versions where there's the other Heatmore that can just attack the active for 30. Very good against baby decks. And then you want to find natural evolution pieces like Combustion, right over here, so that Chingling doesn't lock you out of the game of evolving with rare candy. So Chingling is going to be a big part of the meta. I promise you, some other decks are going to come up. Like, as the season progresses, as the meta develops, we're going to find new cards that are coming out, new ways to play these cards. There's going to be other decks that are going to be important to play, well, at least to learn in the meta, and especially to see how fast it's going to develop. There's going to be Suicune lists. I can show you the list now, but like, when the day comes when I talk about Suicune, I'll talk about Suicune. There's going to be Crobat lists. There's going to be Oricorio lists. There's going to be, guess what? I think there's going to be a Solgaleo list. I'm not even joking. Like, there's going to be a Solgaleo list. There's going to be a Decidueye list. There's going to be, I don't think there's going to be a Buzzwole. That's Copium. But, there's going to be, the meta is going to change. We cannot foresee it. One thing I just want you guys to understand is stay ahead of the meta. Play good decks. You do not want to be smashing your head playing a losing deck, and the only way to do that is by playing meta decks, is by playing decks that are winning. And I've got you. I'm not going to gatekeep. I'll tell you the deck to play on day one. With that all being said, guys, good luck. Remember, we are running this giveaway. It's a really cool one. Remember, get used to these decks. Start playing them now so you familiarize yourself with. It's the Magnezone, it's the Hydreigon, it's the Altaria, and it's the Blaziken deck. Alright, guys, let's go. Let's crush day one, Master Ball. Let's go! Cheers.